Breakdown. I'm your host, Diane Rembert, avid reader, award-winning literary blogger, and the founder of Diamond's Literary World, which is my footprint in the literary industry. Today I want to talk to you about book one of a very popular series by none other than New York Times best-selling authors, husband and wife duo, Batman and Robin of urban fiction. We're talking about none other than Ashley Antoinette and her husband JaQuavis Coleman. They are the epitome of the song, we're a movement by ourselves, but we're a force when we're together. Because separately, these two are doing the damn thing. Together, they give us amazing books. Now, the Cartel, if you have not read it already, is it's an oldie, it's a classic. However, a group of friends and I decided to reread the series along with some friends who had not read the book or the series. And so we're reading it and breaking it down one by one. We're talking about it together. I love the fact that we're doing this because I've come across so many things that I don't think I realized the first go round. The first go round, you're reading with the anticipation of this good book, and you miss some of the clues. This go round, I'm like, wow, there were so many things that I missed or I just plain forgot. So I'm really glad that I'm able to read it with someone who's reading it for the first time, and then we can talk about it. So let's get into the Diamonds. If you're not familiar with the Diamonds, we're talking about Big Carter and his lovely wife. Then we have the twins, Mecca and Monroe, and then there's Young Breeze. Well, it opens up. I'm just going to give you the bare because I want you to get all of these feels. But it opens up in a courthouse scene with Carter Sr. On trial. As they come out, there is a shootout. And now, I'm not going to tell you too much more because that's a scene that I think will forever live in the minds of anyone who has read urban fiction. Okay? But then we get introduced to one of the more popular characters in this series. Carter is the illegitimate son of Big Carter. And what's ironic is his dad knows everything. His stepmom knows everything. It's the children who are introduced to Carter. And it's not so much a welcome introduction on some members' parts. And I'm not going to give you the information. I want you guys to go and figure it out for yourself. But just know, each sibling plays a significant role in this book. Now, we also are introduced to one of my favorite characters of this entire series, and that's Zaire. If you've read the series, you know about Zaire, and immediately I just fell in love with him. Now, I think I want to just touch on a couple of things in this family and what made it so unique. The Diamonds are drug dealers in Miami, so they're all on the Diamond Estate, but they are enemies with the Haitians. Again, you'll have to read the book to find out why. And so there's a lot of criminal activity that takes place between the two. That leads to a lot of bloodshed. It leads to a lot of it really leads to a lot of tears. And I'm not exactly sure how I feel about certain members of the family because there's some deceit, not only from outside of the family but from within as well. There's a lot. And we know that sometimes a cool head prevails and a hothead does not. In this case, it does not. I'm just gonna say that. Um, but I'm trying not to give a lot away. But okay, I'm gonna just say that I should put a disclaimer. I'm gonna give you some spoilers. Mecca and Monroe, even though they're twins, they couldn't be further apart as far as personality wise. I believe that one has taken on the personality of the mother and one has taken on the personality of the father, and they may, like I said, they may look the same, but one has a hot head, one does not. And but there's a lot of deceit that goes on between the twins that leads to bloodshed, which leads to another war, which leads to so much drama in Miami. Not to mention, so young sister Breeze has somewhat taken to her older brother Carter. And I think it's because he reminds her of her dad, because Breeze was a daddy's girl. And so here she has this man who is the spitting image of her dad to come and take on responsibility in the family. And it really is a beautiful thing to witness this blossoming relationship. And then comes Zaire, and the relationship between Breeze and Zaire was absolutely beautiful. It was beautiful. That, it started out so innocent, and then it became this thing, and then something happens to Breeze, and I think the one who takes it the hardest is young Zaire. And I felt like he was a stellar dude for what he did in that particular moment. So that's why I love Zaire as much as I do. Book one. We'll just stick to book one right now, okay? For those of you who have read this series and you know that there's a storm brewing. There's a storm brewing. We cannot go without mentioning the introduction to the diamonds of Miamor and the Murder Mamas. Now, if you're not familiar with them, they do have their own book. It's entitled Murder Mamas. If you're not familiar with these four young ladies, they do have their own book, Murder Mamas, and Ghost of Murder Mamas by Dream Collins. And so you know that they are hired assassins. So it becomes a game of hired assassin versus hired assassin. Which one is going to win? This is why you have to read the book, because the book will tell you and it will give you play by play of assassin versus assassin. And let me tell you, what a hell of a job. What a hell of a job Ashley and JaQuavis did bringing that to the forefront. Okay? I'm not going to tell you which a hired assassin because I want you to read the book. But what I do want you to do, if you've read it, is give me your thoughts on book one. Book one. Because we're going to break them down book by book. If you've read the series, you already know where I'm going with book two. That's another story for another day. Please do not share it here for anyone who has not read it. But tell me your thoughts on book one of The Cartel. I will say this. I'm so happy that I bought books 1, 2, and 3 collectively, because it inspired me to keep moving with the series. Now, the older me, and after I've read several books by Ashley and JaQuavis together as well as separately, I kind of have an idea of who wrote what in this book. It's a little easier. I didn't know it back then because I wasn't familiar with their style. Now, if you know Ashley, you know Ethic, Butterfly, The Invitation, you'll have somewhat of an idea. If you know JaQuavis's work, Cubana, The Streets Have No King, it it won't be too difficult to figure out. And I want to know if you felt the same way I felt. Let me know here in the comment section. You guys know I love to have dialogue with you about these books, but I just had to come and talk to you all. Now, I will say, if there was one thing in this series that bothered me, or I not so much bothered me as it I think could have been a little better, was the accent of Mati and his crew, the Haitians. Um, it came off as a Jamaican accent, but not a very good one. So that's the only thing that I will say about book one. But again, absolutely loved it. Of course, I'm going to give it, well, for the dialect, I guess I'll probably give it 4.5. Like I can't take off anything else. What a wonderfully written book. Okay, and remember, it's book one. And remember, three people, Miamor, two couples, Miamor and Carter, Zaire and Breeze. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. Because I want you guys to go and read it for yourself. I want to thank you all for taking the time to watch the video. I want to thank you for subscribing to the channel. If you have not done so already, please take a minute to do so now. And hit the bell so that you will be notified whenever I release a new video. I'm constantly uploading new content for you guys because I love to hear the feedback. I love to give you guys my thoughts. And, you know, it's June. And can I just tell you that I have, I believe, 8 books on my best of 2021 list already. I've read some amazing books this year, so I can't wait to share that with you. I almost wish I could do a midway, but I'm not. I'm going to save it all for the end. But I just wanted to say I've been getting some good reading in. I hope that you guys have as well. I hope that you've been taking time to enjoy your loved ones, enjoy the great weather, just enjoy life. And I hope that wherever you are in your life, that you are at peace with yourself. I hope that you are loving on yourself. So with that being said, I just want to thank you all once again and wish you happy reading and be blessed.